Alright, we adjusted our lighting and our zoom, and I think I've got it more figured out than I did 10 minutes ago. So let's talk about this box. We're going to start with Harold Tull himself, this gorgeous, gorgeous man right here. And then we're going to go ahead and do his totems, the walking cannons here with the teapot strapped to it. And his henchman, the King's Wall, this Iron Man-esque gentleman in the center. And then the three minions, the Saboteurs. Here is one of their artworks. That is the only other artwork we have. On the back, we've got the renders. There's Harold again, looking ever so gorgeous. Then the two walking cannons, the King's Wall, and the three Saboteurs. So let's get started. Alright, here is the entirety of the sprue. We've got Harold down here, the two walking cannons up on this corner. Then down here is the King's Wall and the three Saboteurs. So let's get started on Harold. Here's the sprue. We've got 9 bits, all labeled G1 through G9. I think we'll probably grab the torso, slap the 2 legs on him, put the box underneath his foot so he can stand up, put Sergeant Walter on his neck, both the cat and the cat legs, then the head, and then we'll do both arms. Here's our starting point, G5, the torso. G8 is our right leg, and it has this nice little tooth right here, which should attach right in this little groove right here. And it should look exactly like that. That's how a leg is supposed to look. The left leg also has a nice little guide groove. And it has this corresponding tooth on G3, the left leg. There, now we have 2 legs in a very smug pose. G2 is our weapon or ammo case. It's probably an ammo case, but his left foot is supposed to go on there somewhere, and I wonder where that could be. Alright, what you're going to want to do is put the foot-shaped foot in the foot-shaped hole, and it'll look like this. Also, fun fact, if you didn't know or didn't figure it out, Mr. Tull here is deaf, hence the hearing horn thing strapped into his ear, which leads me to believe he has made the joke more than once, war crimes, never heard of them. So Sergeant Walter is G9, and he's going to wrap around the neck right here, and then we'll put his legs on after that. Now, it should be pretty obvious how he sits in there, but if you need a clue, you shouldn't be seeing holes in your cat. Okay, broke out the light because I think this is just, the bits are just a little too dark. So here we go. This is your Sergeant Walter on Harold's shoulders. Next is his legs, which go right here in this hole. They are piece G4. Here is G4, the tiny-ass cat legs. We're looking at the smooth side, which will be the part that is gluing to Harold's shoulders, and you can kind of see the nub there at the top, which will plug into the cat. Alright, this is what you should be seeing onto the head. There's the head. I feel like I don't need to give you instructions on how a head fits on a body. If you need those, this video is not for you. But there's the back of the neck if you need a look. Sorry, the head was G7, if you didn't know. Next, we're going to add, that is G6, I believe, the left arm, which is draped over the left leg, and then ended up with G1, which is the big old gun being held by the right arm, which is going over his shoulder. Here's G6, the left arm. Oops. Now we're looking at G1, the MFGL, and anyone that's played the game Doom or has ever heard Samuel L. Jackson speak probably knows what that stands for. Anyways, this morphed part right here, that is going to slot in nicely with this misshapen part of Sergeant Walter. Now combine the two. There we go. Just make sure that the arm is situated correctly in the armpit first, and then try to fold it into the shoulder so it lines up correctly with the parts I showed you. There we are. Harold Tull, Artillerist, done. The most difficult part was definitely the cat legs. I think you could possibly put them on the body of the cat before you put the cat on Tull's shoulders, but I feel like that also threatens them just popping off before you really get them set, so it's really up to you. But what a pretty model. Look at these two loose cannons ready to commit some war crimes. Isn't it great? Oh, hey, look, two loose cannons looking to do some war crimes. Anyway, these are the walking cannons, but we already know them as Gertrude and Ethel, thanks to Tull's cart. And I want to point out something utterly silly, the fact that they have them labeled as A and B, but the bits for the A model are B1 through B4, and the bits for the B model are A1 through A6, and I'm mad. We're going to start with walking cannon A. We're just going to go as labeled on this sprue. A is going to be Gertrude from here on out. Should be simple. Alright, so we got B4, the big metal juice box of a body. We're going to go ahead and grab B1 and slap it on this side, and then B2 we'll slap on this side, and then we'll just slap the cannon on top. Lots of slapping. Alright, here's B1 attached. And B2. Okay, for B3 there is a groove for a tooth. My depth perception is terrible, and it's right there. There's the groove. And the tooth is right there. Voila, there we go. Walking tank A, Gertrude, 4 pieces, piece of cake. Moving on. So for walking cannon B, first you grab your juice box, the A4, and then there's a real quick and easy way to figure out the legs. Okay, first up, these shorter ones are going to be closer to the exhaust than the cannon, and these ones are going to be closer to the cannon than the exhaust. But also, they're the complete opposite of the first walking cannon in that they are facing the other direction? The other direction. What I mean is that you sort of see like these knees, I guess. The knees of the robot, they're pointing towards the exhaust part of the Mini, whereas on the first one, they're pointed towards the cannon. So this is the cannon side and the exhaust side legs that are on the side of the model with the cups. This side. And this is cannon side and exhaust side legs of the metals. There. A2. A5. Flip and add A3. And lastly is A6. Well, not last, it's not the cannon. A1 only has one real way it can go in. Like that. There you go. Walking cannon B, Ethel. It's done slightly harder than Gertrude, but not by much. It's 4 bits versus 6 bits, so should be fine. Moving on to probably the hardest build in this box, the King's Wall. Yeah, this might actually be easier than Tull, just because Tull had cat legs to deal with. So we're going to grab the body and then put on the exhaust here, as well as the backpack. Slap the head on, do both the legs and both the arms, and finish off with the shield. Here we have C5, the body. These teeth are going to fit onto... they're going to connect with the grooves here on C7, the exhaust. Here it is attached. And from the next side, if you want to see, next is C1, the backpack. The tubes will be going down his side here, so the flat side will be up against the exhaust. And there's our backpack. Next will be C5, the head, which, goes right there. And next is the legs. We've got C9, the right leg, and C3, the left leg. Let's get to it. C9, the right leg, and C3, the left leg. Sadly, this boy can't stand up on his own. Have to glue him down after this is all done. Next up is C4, the right arm, and C8, the left arm. Here we are, C4, right arm. This is kind of the angle you're looking at. Focus, please. C8, left arm. Again, the angle we're looking for. Last is C2, the shield that you just glue on to the ends of the handles he is holding. And this is why you do the arms right before the shield, because you'll take a little bit of wiggling to get those things to squish in where they're supposed to be. Alright, King's Wall done. Next, we're going to go ahead and move on to...
That's the king's hand, not the king's wall.
The King's Wall. Done. Braxton Briggs is his name. I had to look that up. I forgot. Sorry. Man in an Iron Man suit. A steampunk, diesel punk Iron Man suit. Not... Yeah, I would say he wasn't as hard as Tull, although getting his arms situated was probably the hardest part. Let's move on to the Sappers. Here's our sprue for the Sappers. For some reason they are A, B, and then C, but whatever, we'll do them in order. So we'll be starting with A, and we'll go ahead and grab the body, put the leg on there, figure out where the satchel and the grenades go, then slap the hand and the arm on him, and finish with the head. Alright, we're looking at D2. D1 is going to go right here, because it's the other leg. Here's D1 attached. Not the most intuitive way of putting it in there, so you really got to just look at the fringe of the coat and get it to align that way. Next is D3, the satchel. I'm pretty sure it's going on the old butt here with the strap going up across the shoulder. Doesn't that look nice? Whoops. Yeah, that's probably a better angle. The strap is just going to be kind of floating there until we put the arm on, but I'm pretty sure we see the grenades go right there. There's a nice little connection point. So the sort of strap, I guess, where the grenades are connected to each other goes right here, and then they'll be hanging down by the handle, and the one on the left will obviously be fitting in that groove. There we go. That looks real nice. Looks real nice. I'll do the shotgun in the hand next, and then the left arm after that. Obvious connection point right there. There we go, one-handed like a badass about to break a shoulder. Of note, there is this little weird gap here, and I'm relatively certain that's because he's wearing gloves, and so that's actually the wrist, or whatever he's wearing underneath the coat, poking out in that space. The left arm is going to be pointing down. Use the satchel strap as a guide. D6, the left arm. And D7, the head. And you should be pointing, kind of looking down, maybe a little bit. He's looking kind of towards where he's pointing the gun. Sapper 1, done. We'll move on to the second one. This guy needs a name. In honor of my father's favorite awful joke format, we're going to go with Oli. Because I don't know why I'm picturing these people being Scandinavian, possibly because they're really freaking tall for Malifaux models. Next up is Sapper B. We'll grab the body like we always do, shove the other leg on. Then we'll do the grenades on the belts, the backpack, the right arm, and then the left arm. Real fast. F1 is our body, and we're going to jam F4 the leg right up there. There's our leg. And we're going to do F6 the grenades right here on her belt, again with the handles pointing down. Nice and pretty. Next we will do the backpack. Wasn't a good way to describe how the backpack, what is top and what is bottom. The best I can give you is that this right here is the flap that goes over the top of the backpack. You can kind of see it going like that. So obviously this part is the top. F2, the backpack. Here is F6, the right arm, and the butt of the gun. No real obvious connection point I could point out to you, so I'm just showing it to you, and that's the angle you're looking for. F5 has a slightly more obvious connection point right there. Well, connecting to this obvious groove on the bit. Again, my depth perception sucks. There we go, and don't forget to glue the barrel onto the gun as well. Sapper B, we're gonna call her Lena. And really no hard parts about this. Maybe just figuring out what side of the backpack is up, but other than that, easy peasy. Moving on to Sapper C. Last model, we're going to do the same order we've been doing. Grab the torso, slam both legs on, do the backpack and the grenades, and then finish off with the arms. One thing of note, there is a mistake on the sprue. There are two E5s. We're going to say the grenades here are E6, because there seems to be an obvious, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 order here. Start with E1, or torso. Then we'll move on to E2, and then E3, the legs. The E2 looks to be the left leg, and E3 is our right leg. Here's E2 attached. It's looking at a weird angle for how a leg is supposed to be, but I'm sure the other leg will make it make sense. Anyways, just focus on how it continues on with the hem of the coat, and you should be fine. Here's E3, and yeah, it looks a little bit better. He's kind of twisting his torso, though. But follow the hem of the coat, you'll be fine. Next is the grenades, which I believe I called E6, but there's another issue with the labeling. Anyways, take the grenades, pop them there, handles down. The one on the left should have a nice tooth to go in this hole here. There we go, look at the pretty little grenades. Next is the backpack, which obviously goes on the back. And you can tell the top because of the flap that goes over the top of it, like I mentioned on the last one. The issue with the labeling is that we have two E5s and no E6. We also don't have an E7. There are 7 bits on this model, but thankfully the bits are pretty easy to distinguish. I'm just going to say backpack, right arm, left arm, and you'll be fine. Backpack, right arm, and left arm. There we have it, Sapper C. We're going to call this one Lars. Really no difficult part at all. Just as easy as the last one. A pretty simple set of minions. They are the 7 models in the Guild Tull Core Box. Overall, pretty easy build. Most difficult part did end up being Harold's, well, not Harold's legs, Sergeant Walter's legs on Harold. And then after that, nothing else of note. Maybe a little confusion with Braxton Briggs' arms, the King's Wall, but simple enough. Have fun playing them and blowing stuff up. Also, war crimes. I haven't made a war crimes joke in a little while.